Hi there, I'm Shane Spiers and welcome to another edition of the Performance Brief where we give you one breakthrough business idea in just 5 minutes. My guest today is Mike Ogilvie. Mike, a very warm welcome. How are you today?
I'm fantastic, Shane, and welcome. I love being on your show.
Brilliant. For those of you that don't know him, Mike is sometimes mischievously referred to as an oxymoron, an interesting chartered accountant who entertains conference audiences and business owners around the world with his profit improvement masterclasses. He is the author of Turnover Feeds Your Ego, but Only Profits Can Feed Your Family. 157 Great Tips to Avoid Hunger. Brilliant, I love the title. Mike has launched a crusade against mediocrity, urging everyone to recognise ordinary people and ordinary businesses who stand out by being different, and created a page on Facebook called Being Mad, Not Sad. Mad being be magnificent and dazzling rather than satisfactory and dull, like so many others out there. Brilliant. Mike, the title of our interview today is As the Impact Caused by Ordinary People Being Mad, Not Sad. And with 5 minutes for the interview, if you're ready, I'll start the clock.
Great.
So why did you start this crusade against mediocrity?
Well, as you said, I'm an accountant and as well as a conference speaker, and so I primarily look at small businesses, the SMEs, mainly in the UK, but get invited to do consultancy to other places in the world as well. And the problem is now with artificial intelligence, I almost refer to it as a tsunami of the IT that's affecting us. More and more people are making the mistake of being conned into cutting their prices as the only way of being able to compete. And I keep saying to them that pricing is a choice. And if you make the mistake of going into that, allowing yourself to be commoditized, then you're cutting your risks. And it's only a question of when you die rather than if you die. So I try to create this crusade against mediocrity because I said the way you are able to increase your prices is by standing out and being different.
And do you have simple examples of how easy it is to be mad, not sad?
Yeah, I've got a great one of the stories I tell and well known for at conferences is the man on the beach in Barbados who got to try and sell me a pineapple for $200. And I won't go through the whole story, but basically he befriended us on the first day. We were walking along the beach next to Sandy Lane Hotel where all the stars are. And he never once tried to sell us anything. And the ladies in our party, there were 6 of us, and they couldn't understand this. And they made the classic mistake of asking what he was selling. And he just laughed out and says, "No, madam." He says, "I don't sell anything. People buy pineapples from me." And I sort of pricked up my ears and I thought, this is just a typical beach hawk, and we've been collared by so many on the beach, just like you are in anywhere around the world. And when one of the other wives said, "And how much do these pineapples cost?" He said, $200. I thought, oh my goodness, I suddenly stood up and took notice. I thought, $200? I asked him, I said, "Well, they're made of gold?" He said, "No, they're golden, they're delicious, they're an experience. Wait till you've tried one." And I thought, wow, this guy's cute, and there's nothing really special about him, but he's got a personality.
Yeah.
And cutting the long story short, in the end, I willingly gave him $20 for a pineapple. And I asked the audience when I'm talking at conferences, I said, "Have I been had?" And when they've had the whole story, they've enjoyed it, they've been entertained by it. Some will say yes, and some people say no. And I said, well, that was a question in my mind. But I asked him, "Does anybody ever pay you $200 for a pineapple?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What, Americans?" He said, "Yeah." "British?" "Oh, no, you're far too tight." The learning point is that I always say with anybody in business is this guy never tried to sell to us, but he invited us to buy from him. He befriended us. And we all know people like to deal with people they like. And so when you can lower the barrier and suddenly make it an experience of fun to deal with somebody, price becomes less of a factor. Nobody wants to pay any more than they need to. But if you can actually make it fun, you will always enjoy it, and your price becomes is a distraction rather than a major factor.
And do you know anyone who charges significantly more than others by being mad and not sad?
there's just loads of people. I mean, if you only got to think in terms of the motor industry or the hotel industry. There was one down in the New Forest. They recently closed, called Terravina, but it was owned by the guy who started up the Hotel du Vin chain. And he'd just be little small things that could be, he'd have spare sets of glasses. So when people got their romantic dinner in the evening, and so the light is subdued and you're trying to look at your menus and you can't read it, they don't worry. They say, look, here's a selection of glasses. You've forgotten to bring yours. Just borrow it. Little small things. Or they'd have a whole line of wellies by the door, so that if it was raining and you wanted to go for a walk in the New Forest, just use some of our wellies if you're not sure. All sorts of little small things. It just doesn't cost money. It's an attitude. And generally it's an attitude that starts with the team. Another example I use, I went to Macedonia, and I'd been 6 months before to this hotel, and there was a waiter called Fazli, and he greeted me and he said, welcome back. Would you like your normal coffee and omelette? And I said, wow. How do you know that? He says, well, I remember you. You've stayed here before. I said, yes, but that was about 6 months ago. Yeah. And I said, what, you were the manager? He said, no, I'm just the waiter here. And I referred to that on the M.a.D Not S.a.D page on Facebook. Next morning, he said to me, what have you done? I said, why? He says, I've had 3 job offers yesterday. So I always just say it's the small person in the business that quite often makes a difference, and they're not recognised. Mm. So I just started this Facebook page, and it's mainly me that's post, but people will send me information and I go and post on it. And I just like recognising, because those small people, and I have loads of different examples of the small people, the things that people talk about. You know, if you want people to talk about you, you've got to give them something to talk about.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And people will always believe what other people say about you. They never believe what you say about yourself.
Mike, fascinating, great stuff. Thank you for that. Folks, for more resources, check out Mike's website, mikeogilvie.com.